Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Aquarius. If Aquarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Okay, and let's see what these tea leaves have to say. And our card for this reading is the 10 of Discs, which I did not put out. I left it over here. There we go, the 10 of Discs, which has everything to do with wealth. All right. So let's see what we can see here. Okay. Okay. So, I want to look at this one first. Okay, so first we have, it looks like a person walking, okay, and we have a fish right below them. We have a number 1 right here behind them, and it looks like they're holding a candle, okay, and so in this, it really looks like movement, right? Forward movement, any kind of movement, really. I usually would say that when we're going this direction, this is the past, this is the future. But I do think that there is kind of a sense of forward movement through kind of exploring some of these past places in life, okay? With the illuminating candle, you know, I feel that this is not necessarily a journey into places that are terribly difficult. I don't even know that this is, you know, any kind of work where we're undoing some of those blockages. I know this has been kind of the focus of getting through that big tower moment, kind of working on some of those deeper pains, old traumas that kind of have flared up in this difficult time. But I think that here, in the posture of the person moving, and in relation to the formation on the other side, and I'll show you in a minute, I feel like this is more of a look backwards to places that felt whole, that felt, well, the feeling that life really is just so, what is the word? I'm thinking full, but it's, there's the wealth, there is the abundance, but there is a softness, there's a sweetness, there is a feeling of being satiated and content, right? They're just not pouring over, but right at the brim, okay? And I feel like going back, you're looking back, you're thinking, you know, when was the last time I really felt like everything was going right? Or at least the things that really mattered. They're going right for me. I'm doing the things that mean something to me. I'm showing up for myself. You know, I'm living in a way that truly honors my being. And, you know, kind of taking a trip back into those memories, trying to get an idea of well, maybe these are some of the things that I need to revisit. Some of these variables I can kind of take out of the closet and apply back to my life. And, you know, I think a lot of this usually has to do with our interests. Maybe the people we're around, the communities that we're involved in, places that we've traveled to, you know, books we've read. That's books, movies, music for me. And I've talked about this a lot in my readings. I'm really into having these moments of real immersive impressions. I like to really kind of swim through a whole feeling, the smell of the room, the lighting, the music I'm listening to or movie I'm watching, you know, how I feel physically, like how I'm dressed, all of the things, you know. I like it to all be aligned in such a way. Maybe that's the Virgo in me. But, you know, I think that there is a sense of going into these old places and taking the things that really made you feel at home, made you feel inspired, made you feel like you were where you're supposed to be in that moment. Okay. And I'm looking at this and now, you know, it looks like a 1, maybe it's a 2. You know, I always think of the 1 as kind of the old style 1. But this could be a 2 as well. So if those numbers mean anything to you, obviously 1 and 2 could be applied to so many things. But this might be something, you know, a bit of a little nudge into where to go looking, okay? And then we have the Fish. And I feel like there's really just an abundance of emotional wealth in this place. It is in this emotional kind of incline here. And so, you know, I think that this is really a very worthwhile trip back into wherever it is that felt so potent to you, okay? And now I turn this and we see it looks very much like the Fool, this Fool energy, and the Fool holding the Grail, right? The Ace of Cups. So we have this really kind of almost skipping or running or whatever this silly energy is doing, this you know, kind of cut ties from all of the restraints, let go of some of those inhibitions, looking back into a place where there is a sense of freedom, the ability to be all of the things or none of the things. You know, I think of the Fool often as the merriment, but that's not all the Fool is. The Fool is capable of traveling in every sector of every archetype, all of the sides, all of the faces, all of the potential, and you know, very, very close to that divine source as well, being the 0. So having that Grail, that you know, container of the spark, the emotional waters, you know, the knowledge of love and creation and you know, all these things. I really feel like you are getting into this very it feels very potent. I feel like almost through you kind of making up this situation, that you are going back, finding the things, the elements that bring you to this place of deep emotionality, of connection to spirit, aligning it in a way almost as if it is kind of a ritual. This is kind of a portal into a place where you really have the ability to access I think very core and primordial material. Okay, and so I think that this ultimately will be very transformative for you. I feel like you, you know, you might feel like I'm losing parts of myself. Things have been taken away from me. You might understand why, you might not. But you know, I think one of the real things here is trying to maintain your faith in the universe, that the universe will provide for you, that the universe will show you the way if you listen, okay? And there will be adjustments. There will. Life will change, continue to change. Your perception of life will change and continue to change. But I think that you know so much about you as a being, your spiritual configuration. And I think that all of the things are there to get to this next work, this next interior thing that is going to be very important. But it is a matter of almost, you know, kind of you know, some kind of like I Spy game, or, you know, like these kind of search games where you look for the little objects, going back through your life, finding the things that need to come together to create this new direction for yourself. And that, you know, you might think, gosh, Lenor, what are you even talking about? You know, and I get that. But you know, I think that really this could be, you know, so many things. And let me give you an example. You know, so maybe you are coming into a place where, yeah, you're doing some of that like interior child work. Okay. So you go back and you think about, you know, maybe the smell of your grandmother's kitchen. Okay. What did she like to bake or cook? You know, or maybe it smelled like coffee or flowers or whatever. So go back and think about that. What comes to your mind first? It doesn't just have to be a smell. It could be something you would see there, something that really kind of ties you back to that feeling. And I'm using this as an example, but looking for potent places in our memories that surround the work we're doing. So if we're doing interior child work, we're going to think about things from our childhood. So we find something from there. We're going to implement that in our environment in the now. Okay. So maybe grandma really liked to make banana bread. Maybe you don't bake, I don't know, but it's going to be time to learn how. Okay. Something to, this is part of the work, right? Learning new skills, or finding a recipe that you can use to, you know, and maybe you know how to. Maybe you have been making the bread all along. Well, in this time of work, I think that you should, to bring up these feelings. Now, other things. What did you like to do as a child? What, you know, what was something that you could lose yourself in? Maybe you like to lay on the floor and color. Or maybe you like to make clothes for your dolls. Maybe you like to go out back and dig holes, you know, or whatever. That was me. I like to dig. I like to be in the dirt a lot. So, you know, something like this. So then you find a way to implement that into your life. Maybe you take up some sewing. You know, maybe you start drawing some of your feelings, some of your story. You start working on your memoirs through, you know, using crayons, making some sketches or whatever. Now, these are just things. So we are finding little anchors through the work that we're doing, right? And we bring this together. We create a web. We create a place, a home, a symbolic home or womb, okay, to do this work. And we do that by identifying things that are going to get us into the mind state that surrounds the thing that we're working on. And this will become a place that you go through, kind of a doorway, kind of a portal, kind of like a, you know, an interior, I don't know, you know, time machine or something. And this will get you to those very potent places, You know, and this is kind of an active imagination scenario. But it can be implemented in the physical world. Okay. And it's all about really reprogramming our experience, our thinking. Okay. And, you know, changing our environment, changing our language, you know, re-engaging our memories, our relationships to our memories. You know, it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of work, but I feel that you are in a place where this is going to be something that really, really could be so profound for you. And with that full energy, that's like the best traveler, right? That's like the best road buddy, because you don't get kind of stuck in these places. The attachment is not there. Okay. You know, it's easy to, when we go traveling through our life, to get caught up in the things that were, you know, where you felt wronged or maybe neglected or forgotten. And yeah, those are very valid feelings, right? But we can definitely get stuck in them, and then the work goes undone. So excellent. We also have a hawk up here, a beautiful sign of, you know, clarity, a strong mindset, you know, and also very important sign for doing kind of this imagination, active imagination, meditative, vision work, interior work, dream work, because you have to stay in a, now it doesn't have to be super planned, although it can be, but you have to stay focused on what you're doing, or you can get very lost very easily. And then we forget, why are we even here, right? What am I doing here? I'm just kind of, you know, checking out this weird kind of Alice in Wonderland landscape. So very important to be able to remember why you're doing this, and, you know, yourself, just keeping some tie to the selfhood, right? Okay, so we have a person praying here, and we have a person whose arm is kind of, you know, raised to the sky. And so definitely posture of devotion, of, you know, kind of giving over self and humbling of self. Okay. And I think just, you know, to get into these places, there has to be, to some degree, this openness that we can only find through things like gratitude, devotion. You know, when we begin to pray for things that have nothing to do with us, that are not to our benefit. You know, ultimately, yes, you know, probably we have some superstition around prayer, that it'll, you know, raise our position in some way, or it's in our favor to pray or whatever. But it is an important practice, in my opinion, to consider things, you know, for other people, or, you know, general circumstances of the universe, if it is on this planet or out there or whatever you're praying for. I think that it is good work to be of service to others. Okay, and it really does open our heart up deeply. Now, does this have to be, you know, kind of the prayer that we know that align to religious practices? Not necessarily. It should be whatever that looks like to you, whatever you feel is right, and it doesn't matter who you're praying to. Okay, that is your business. You know, and all are welcome, right? Anyways, here they are. Okay. So we have a couple of eyes here, and I feel like through this work, and I know that our last reading, which was a few days ago. We talked about, you know, there's a presence in your life. And I feel, you know, this continues very much being watched over. Not in a way that's, you know, intimidating or cruel or the evil eye, but in a way that is you're cared for. You are held, coveted, and there is a lot of love surrounding you, okay? And this one I think is so beautiful. I see a person kind of standing here with their hair blowing, and it looks like they're holding something, almost like they're going to like blow the like the, what is it? The not the daisy, the the thing with the seeds. And yes, it's getting late. It's my last reading of the night. But yes, blowing it so that you may put your intentions out there. This is a sign of alignment with the universe for manifesting. Foot in that metaphysical, the rest in the emotional there. And I really do think that this is well, it's a glorious time, and we have an exclamation mark right there. I really believe that you know, against all of the kind of dark clouds that have been you know, in your skies, there is such light. That it's like the things are really shifting in a way that is so profoundly spiritual. I feel like your heart has become lighter in some ways. There is just a sense of glory, I guess is the word, really. I almost think of like those old Technicolor movies where, you know, the sun would be coming up, and of course they would add the coloring into the cells, and but it would be beautiful. These beautiful you know, movies, videos of the sun coming up, and it was, you know, kind of uncanny because the frames were you know, slower, but I feel like something like that. It just is really a very beautiful, kind of almost like otherworldly, something magnificent, right? Can you imagine the people that first saw those movies? They had never seen anything like that, and to see you know, a silent film that, well, and then a color in a film. But just, I mean, it's, you know, what a wonder. So I feel like there is really that sense of awe, you know, alive in your life, and really calling out for you, and you know, it's there, and it's ready to be activated. And really, a lot of this is up to you. It's up to you what you do with it. We also have a little face here. It looks like it's just, you know, pretty happy, pretty content. You know, hopefully no major issues coming up in this next little cycle. Really focused on, you know, doing the dang old thing, and staying focused on yourself. Of course, there are still emotions coming up, and I see there is a little bit of watery emotions, but I don't think that it is so overwhelming right now that you know, you're feeling very stifled. But you know, it's important to continue doing what you're doing, and where, you know, when there are these big moments of a lot of emotionality, you know, letting that be what it is with no judgment. It's important for us to feel the way that we feel. It doesn't, you know, I think sometimes when we really try to analyze or, you know, feel guilt about how we're feeling, it sticks with us And, you know, it becomes a thing that we identify with rather than this kind of transient emotion. You know, and it really comes down to our reactions, right? We can feel things. We can feel super annoyed, very angry, divinely in love, joyous, whatever. You know, but how do we react? How are we going to employ these feelings into our life? That's, you know, that's where we have to be responsible, right? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop where it feels right. And we have Terra, the Earth card. So yes, fertile time, very fertile, spiritually, and pouring into your physical realm as well. So we do, you know, we have that wealth card. It makes, all of it makes sense. You know, and ultimately, I think that this journey you've been on will be so helpful for you in the next things that you do in your mundane life. You know, it might even transition you into a whole new field of study or work, or, you know, where you put your time, the things that you do, you know, not just to make money, but, you know, where you find emotional and spiritual resources. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. If you'd be so kind as to like the video, it helps us get into the algorithm. And as we know, the algorithm kind of decides everything about everything. So we like to make it happy with the engagement that it wants. Things like liking the video, sharing the readings on other social media platforms, watching the videos from the beginning to the end. And if you'd like to subscribe, please do. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. And if you want to leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. I read all of them and they mean so much to me. Okay, Aquarius, we will talk in just a few days. Thank you.